Have you ever wondered what it takes to live a long and healthy life? Maybe you've heard of Jeanne Calment, who lived to be over 122 years old and is considered the oldest person on record. She lived through 2 world wars and epidemics, and even saw the introduction of Pentium II and the defeat of Garry Kasparov at chess by a supercomputer. But what was her secret to a long and fulfilling life? In this video, we'll explore the secrets of health and longevity, including the factors that contribute to living beyond 110 years old. We'll also delve into the upper limit of human life expectancy and what it takes to achieve a longer and healthier life. So stay tuned until the end to discover the secrets of living a long and fulfilling life. Let's get started. Intriguingly, Jeanne Calment holds the title of the oldest person on record, having lived for over 122 years without ever having worked. Her birth year saw significant global events, including the rise of the penultimate emperor of China and Canada's first indoor hockey match. She lived through the introduction of the Intel's Pentium II and the historic chess defeat of Garry Kasparov by a supercomputer. Although individuals who officially reach 110 years or older are uncommon, the majority of this select group are women who have typically never smoked, maintained a healthy weight, and aged gracefully. Despite experiencing significant physical limitations, such as being confined to a wheelchair, some long-lived individuals, like Jeanne Calment, have surpassed the previous age limit of 115 years. While experts speculate that the human body may be capable of living up to 150 years, this idea remains unproven. Jeanne Calment, a French woman born in February 1875 in Orel, had a love for wine and did not work throughout her life. Remarkably, she lived to the age of 122 and spent most of her life in the same location, not far from the Mediterranean coast. Despite experiencing 2 world wars and epidemics of cholera and influenza, she managed to avoid significant discomfort. In her childhood, the average life expectancy for a woman in France was 44 years, and the world population was 1.5 billion. Jeanne outlived them all, and her name appeared in 16 population censuses from 1875 to 1975. Researchers have collected numerous documents relating to Jeanne's life, including birth, marriage, and death certificates for herself and her loved ones. Her only daughter passed away in 1934 due to a lung disease, and some researchers speculate that Jeanne's longevity may have been a hoax. However, there is no strong evidence to support this theory, and Jeanne's vivid recollections of the events she witnessed and the people she met suggest otherwise. After a long day, Calment gave herself permission to relax by having a cigarette and a glass of port, but not more than one a day. She enjoyed fine cuisine and a glass of wine with her meals, consumed sweets on a near-daily basis, and chose activities such as walking, roller skating, and playing tennis outside over social gatherings in the companionship of other people. Since she was a child, she had no problems with money. First, her father, who was in shipbuilding, and then her husband, who was a merchant, provided for her comfortable lifestyle. Because of this, she did not require any kind of employment, be it within or outside the household. Might this be one of the factors that contribute to a long life? Jeanne has been on her own without any company since the 1960s. Her entire family had passed away for a variety of causes, and the family was not particularly fertile. She agreed to a unique arrangement with a lawyer who wanted to buy a woman's house, which stated that he was required to pay her a particular sum on an annual basis beginning when she was 90 years old and continuing until she passed away. We can say with absolute certainty that the purchaser had no idea how badly he had miscalculated when he decided to go with an elderly single woman as his target. The investment turned out to be a disaster. He passed away 2 years before Calment, having paid about twice as much for the house as it is currently worth, almost $200,000, but he never moved into it during his lifetime. Jeanne, who was 110 at the time, was placed in a nursing home when she came dangerously close to setting the house on fire. The water in the boiler froze over during the cold winter. An elderly woman tried to thaw the water with a candle, so she climbed on the table and inadvertently started a fire in the insulation material. At the nursing home, she followed a strict routine that included getting up at 7:15 in the morning, praying, doing gymnastics, and listening to classical music on her Walkman. After 5 years, she suffered a hip fracture while climbing the steps to the nurse's station so that she could have a cigarette. Jeanne made it through the operation, and she finally kicked the habit only 2 years later. Later on, she overcame the illness, which was meant to be the end of her, but instead, with each passing year, she gained even more notoriety. We were really excited, like an Egyptologist who, walking through the unexplored labyrinths of the pyramid, discovers an unknown room full of treasures. The authors of the book 120 Years of Jeanne Calment told. The oldest living woman on the earth passed away in the summer of 1997, having never been afflicted with any significant or persistent ailments. 150 years, and it's going to the garbage dump? In theory, there is no upper limit to the amount of time a person can anticipate to live. Around the middle of September, numerous credible news outlets published headlines that contain such a theory. In practice, however, there is a significant gap between theory and practice, despite the fact that theory and practice are conceptually equivalent. Consider it to be a toss of the coin. When you reach the age of 108, instead of celebrating your birthday with cake, you toss a coin. You'll make it to your next birthday if an eagle happens to fall out of the sky. If the tails comes out, you will not make it to 109, and will die. Anthony Davison, a statistician at the Swiss Federal University of Technology and co-author of Mathematical Modeling of the Possibilities of Surviving Beyond 100 Years, shared his thoughts on the subject. And even if you make it to your next birthday, there is no change in the likelihood that you'll pass away. If one were to follow this line of reasoning, one would conclude that it is possible for a person to live forever, provided that they had a lot of luck. The maximum life expectancy of people has not changed all that much during the past century, despite the fact that the average life expectancy of people has increased dramatically. The probability of living up to 130 years is estimated to be 1 in a million, while the probability of living up to 1,000 years is estimated to be 1 in a quintillion. If you tally up the ages of all living beings that have ever existed in the course of the history of the human species, this number will not be sufficient. Mathematicians tend to have a more positive outlook on the future than biologists. They calculate the likelihood of surviving for the longest amount of time possible by taking into account the consistency of the body and its capacity to resume regular functioning following an illness. Its steadiness declines with the passing of the years, no matter what anyone says. When this happens, it is much simpler for diseases to circumvent the protection. Even a mild illness is enough to take the life of an extremely long-lived person. 150 years has been found by a team of researchers to be the upper limit for the span of human life that can be sustained. An examination of blood indicators over time uncovered a gradual decline in vitality and estimated the upper bound of the human lifespan. According to the research conducted by scientists, the inherent biological trait known as fault tolerance would vanish sometime between the ages of 120 and 150 years. It is not easy to get within striking distance of a bar like that, and it is vital to chase after not just living longer, but living healthier for a longer period of time as well. And that's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed this video about the secrets of health and longevity, and what we can learn from the remarkable life of Jeanne Calment. As we've seen, there are many factors that contribute to a long and healthy life, including a healthy diet, regular exercise, and avoiding harmful habits like smoking. And while super long livers like Jeanne Calment are rare, it's never too late to start making positive changes in your own life that can help you live longer and healthier. Remember, it's not just about adding more years to your life, but about making those years count. So take care of yourself and make the most of every moment. Be sure to tune in for our next installment of The Secrets of Health and Longevity, as we continue to explore the remarkable stories and insights of individuals who have achieved optimal health and longevity. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more informative content.